meet with an American boy today. He's pretty unique because he speaks Singlish and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah, he's what's known as a top Caucasian. We're going to go and see what he has to say. Hi, we're here today with Tyler, who can speak Winglish, white boy Singlish. So Tyler, how long have you lived in Singapore?
Singapore, 9 years already.
9 years, and then before that?
2 years in China, then some more, got 5 years in the States.
Oh, wow. Okay, did people treat you any differently, like, you know, wherever you went, because you spoke differently?
Of course, in local schools, only blonde person, hard to do anything, always stand out one. China, same thing, they call me 金发.
金发, golden hair.
Golden hair.
Can you speak Mandarin?
也可以.
Do you still use it these days to get stuff?
当然.
Oh, no, ooh, not bad.
So Tyler, if you ever go to a hawker center, I'm sure you speak in your Winglish. Are they ever surprised?
Aksa mai hiam. Ang mo very power.
You used to live in Tampines, like in a HDB heartland, right?
Yeah.
So how was it like, you know, with neighbors and all that?
Yeah, the first year they didn't talk to us. Then after a while they start, you know, talking, saying hi, go down to the hawker center, they say, oi. But then we found out they knew a lot about us. It was scary. They were like, they knew where we were from, they knew how long, like, we would come from China. And we're like, whoa.
How did you know?
The gossip is just like,
very kepo.
Yeah, kepo. My favorite is the elevators. That's always, you go in, especially if it's like from 20th floor, 12th floor down to one, you got a long time. The old aunties there inside, you know, talking about, like Singapore. And then like, yeah, sometimes they say bad stuff, sometimes they're not, they're just talking. You kind of listen to the conversation, whether it's in Mandarin or in Singlish. Usually if they're talking about you, it's in Mandarin. And you can always pipe in a comment right before you leave, say, hey, and say something in Chinese and then be like, hello.
What would you turn and say to them before you get out the elevator?
别乱说韩国.
Oh, 别乱说韩国.
小心啊，我也会讲华语.
Or things like that.
Yeah.
So you travel like to many different countries, like to China, you lived there when you were a kid, and then the US, and then back to Singapore, right? So which do you consider home?
It's a bit of everything, I guess. I mean,
The most, you have to choose one.
probably Singapore.
Aww.
Singapore's home.
So I am what Adrian likes to call third culture kid at TCK. I'm Ricky.
My name is Victoria Parashon.
I'm Jake Wright.
My name is Yuko Shimada.
My name's Connor Liu.
I'm Oliver Silsby.
My name is Natalie Muller.
My name is Amy Burns.
My name is Hannah Lee.
So when people ask you the question, where's home, how do you normally answer it?
When wow.
It's a good question.
It's difficult.
Unattended baggage is subject to search, inspection, damage, and removal.
So I'm Korean American and I was born and raised in New Jersey for a few years. And then when I was 9, I moved to Japan. And then when I was, I want to say 12, I moved to Guatemala. So there were a couple different places I called home.
It's hard for me to definitively say that Singapore is home. And even though, I mean, I've been here since 5th grade. I graduated high school here. My family's still here. But the whole time we've been here, we always knew this was temporary.
I don't really feel like I have a home. My automatic answer is I grew up in Hong Kong, but I definitely don't consider it my home.
And why is that?
Just because I never felt like I was a local, despite the fact that I lived there from when I was 5 until right before college. So a big part of my life, but I was always a foreigner.
I've come to realize that TCKs live in this gray zone between the culture they grew up in and the culture they're from, and they can't really integrate that well with either one, whether it be Singaporean or American in my case.
There was one time when we were introducing ourselves at the Corp, where I work, about where we're from, and everyone would say like Louisiana, like Boston, and said, well, I was born in Japan, raised in Los Angeles, but I currently live in Tokyo. Like I said the whole thing, and it was awkward, but I said it.
Okay, yeah, realistically, I'm 3/4 French and 1/4 American, but realistically, if you look at like my background and where I grew up and everything, I can't enforce enough how split down the middle I am.
Like my home is Taipei, Taiwan, but sometimes like it gets really repetitive and like having to like answer or like other questions about why Taiwan. So I sometimes say California or Oregon because my relatives are from there.
As a TCK, I think it's kind of ridiculous how at home I feel in an airport. But yeah, I'm sure that a lot of people in my situation would agree. We spend way too much time in airports.
People don't understand why I would consider Singapore home when I'm clearly not Singaporean.
They say I don't look Asian, so and I also like sometimes it gets redundant again, so I like say I'm like a quarter or half. But I don't know, when I was younger it was hard because I didn't know if I was like from Hong Kong because I grew up there first, or Taipei.
People say I look Japanese even though I'm not. And even for a lot of the local Japanese kids who I was interacting with, they were like, oh, you look just like us, yet your name is not Japanese. Your name is Ricky Koo, and that's not a Japanese name at all. And furthermore, your Japanese is second to that of your English. Your English is so much better than your Japanese. So they were just as confused as I was.
When I was little, it was really hard to go to school with all these like French kids and then be like, oh, like, why do you have a funny accent? Why do your parents have funny accents? Especially when you're little, you want to be able to define who you are.
Where are you from? Are you from Japan? Are you half Japanese? No, I'm not half Japanese, but I live there and I sort of speak it. And my mom speaks it, but she's not Japanese. She's actually Korean.
When my family gets together, we always have this like kind of crazy combination of languages.
I still remember during my some kind of summer orientation, I went to school and kids like, oh, you're from Singapore. And I was like, yeah. It's like, wow, your English is so good. And I was just like,
since I spent so much time in both worlds, the accents, I mean, I don't really have an accent in either language. So people are very surprised when I say that, oh my God, you're French, or what, you're American, you have a perfect French accent.
I had a Korean American friend visit once, and it was just me, my mom, and this Korean American friend. And we're all having conversations, switching between Korean and American really easily. Korean and English really easily. And then my mom and I will suddenly switch into Japanese without even realizing. And it happens all the time when we're together, but we kind of forget that we have to limit ourselves around other people. And so my friend was just sitting there for like a good 5 minutes, kind of chuckling nervously and going, I don't know what's happening.
I went to school with people from Azerbaijan to Brazil to obviously France and Haiti or wherever. So it's kind of like being in a class there is being kind of like in the Model UN.
So the school I went to, it was considered an American international school. My school had more than 64 different nationalities represented by the student body. So the idea of multiculturalism, being open-minded and tolerant of people's different beliefs and values was something that was emphasized a lot in my education. So I think that's something that has made me a lot more open-minded about other people.
You can be taught really well how to accept other cultures, and you can be taught about other cultures, and you can learn about it from books and stuff, but you really can't know it fully until you've experienced that.
Third culture kids are usually better at being able to get along with people from a lot of different cultures, because I do feel like it's a skill to be able to put yourself into different contexts and be able to understand like the cultural norms. And there's so many cultural subtleties, that third culture kids are really attuned to, just because that's something they grew up doing.
And you get to appreciate so many more things. Like I get to appreciate Thanksgiving and Christmas and also Chinese New Year and Tomb Sweeping Day. And I don't know, maybe you wouldn't get that here.
Like me, I have, my dad's American, my mom's Korean. And so when I interacted with my mom's family, I had to act in a different way because of Asian cultural norms. They're so different to how I was supposed to act with my dad's large Irish American family.
We always talk about globalization, how the world is becoming smaller, how people are interacting in new ways, and TCKs are kind of in this like unique spot, or they have this unique opportunity where they grew up in situations like that.
Knowing that there's something out there besides what's in your immediate environment, it's really important to take home.
But I don't think this is unique to third culture kids. I think this is a skill that you could learn, but anyone who has that skill should recognize that it's a gift, and I think they should use it to bridging these gaps that we see between different cultures.
Only ticketed passengers are permitted beyond the security checkpoint. Thank you for your cooperation.
One time I had this really deep conversation with my prom date in high school about where home is. And I think I said, like it's not a physical place for me.
Really, home is just, where your family is and where your friends are. It reminds me of this song in 5th grade where it's really cheesy and goes like, home is where your heart is, where you want to be, full of comfort, your family. So I don't know, it's not really, to me it's not really geographic. Like if my family moved and I had 20 great years in some other random city in the world, I think that would be my home.
And the thing is, I don't think it's just going to be TCKs. I think it's going to be TCAs, third culture adults as well. Kids imply that as if that's gonna be the end of it. No, I think this is a sort of a lifelong endeavor. So when I become a TCA, a third culture adult, hopefully my children can look to me and see like, oh, okay, so that's the way he lived, and those are the values that he has, and perhaps I can emulate those.
Are you having a nice time?
Knock, knock. Sadie, wake up! I said wake up!
Oh.
You don't have time to sleep. Open your eyes, I said.
It's open!
Okay, go shave and meet me in the living room right now.
Grandma, I have nothing to shave. No, wait, why are you here?
Okay, I've had some very useful information that you haven't been through. So what is up with that? You know we paid $38,000 for you? And you're wasting your parents' money like that? What about all your talents? You have such wonderful things going on. When are you gonna realize? When are you gonna realize your true potential?
I know, Grandma, the lectures are so boring.
Well, sleep well during the night.
Oh, I just can't do it.
No, of course you can't.
University life is too hard for me. I can't wake up. I can't go to lectures. Can't get anything in my brain right now.
Okay, how about this? Every morning, 7 o'clock, I will call you up and wake you up, okay? And just to motivate you, I will sponsor all your textbooks. I'll buy you a car. How about that?
Really?
Yeah, of course. If you're motivated to do it, I will do it for you.
Yeah, sure. That sounds good.
Great, and I'm only a call away.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Bye,
See you later,
Grandma.
honey.
Bye-bye. Wait. How did you know about all this? How did you know skipping lectures and... Wait, what?
Remember all the events in Hebron? You gotta go in that, mate. Go on, be the change. I dare you. Unfreeze. Adverts.
Oh, adverts!
So what do you guys think of the service today?
Oh, it was well nothing.
What? Jesus and I came across as nothing?
But I never thought about it.
Okay.
No, not.
Okay, let's do this thing. Every time there's an advert, I'll say a Bible reference, I'll chuck the ball, whoever catches it has to say the verse. Okay? So here goes. John 3:16.
I know!
Freeze! Your managed to make a difference in his youth group, and the youth group got happier. Happier. And happier.
Hello? Dad? Oh, hey, son. How's university? Good, Dad. How's India, Dad? Oh, India's fine. Hey, Ma, dinner's ready. Hold on. Dr. Krish. Hey, who's that Christian's good. Yeah. Put me on the phone. Come on. Hey, Chris, how you doing? You okay? Eating well? How's your spiritual life? I'm so worried about you. Yes, are you okay? Is everything okay? Yes, serious. Just fine. Okay. Yeah, hello, son. You okay?
Dad, I'm sorry about that, but I've got into some problems, Dad.
Girl problems?
No, Dad. Financial problems, Dad.
Oh, financial problems. How much are we talking about here?
A lot of money, Dad. I spent a lot of money, Dad, just hanging out with very wealthy friends, Dad. About $15,000 just over the 6 months, Dad.
Did he say $15,000? I want to talk to him. Excuse me? What do you think you're doing? It's my bedroom. It's my private quarters.
We're just looking at pictures.
Yeah, well, it's not the way things are done around here. Who do you think you are? Yeah, well, you're not my friend. Get out. Get out of my house. Look, you got to learn that this ain't your country. This ain't where you're from. And I'm not going to take this. Right, I'll call Helen and I'll call to meet you somewhere else, right? This is my home, my rules. Out. I don't care who you are. Right, well, last year was basically about the the hot and cold culture things. So Tim's was a typical Indian household. Mine was a typical Englishman's household. Typical, I don't know, but either way, just the differences in culture and how they apply the standards of an Indian household to a British household. That completely didn't work. And yeah, it's just to raise awareness that people do things differently in different areas.
Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Yes, say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Hi Tom. I mean. Oh God. So now you're a name stick. Okay. Hi Dink. Good job. Hi Tom. I'm Harry now. Harry now. Hi Harry. Yes Tom. Hi Harry. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Harry. Okay. Hi Tom. Yes Harry. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. No. Harry. Harry Tom. So now you're name's Dick. You're Harry. Hi Tom. Say hello to Tom Harry. Hi Tom. Yes Harry. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Tom. Hi Tom. Yes Tom. Okay. So, hi Dick. You're going to get confused. Tom. Yes Tom. Hi Harry. Yes Tom. Say hello to Tom Harry. No, I'm not Tom anymore. You're not? Oh! Okay.
Easy. Well, you twisted too much.
Hebron highlight.